Hi, and welcome to Talk RX with Dr. Neha. This week, I have a special guest, Lance. He's an executive wellness coach. Is that right?
That's correct.
An executive wellness coach. And he's willing to come on camera and ask his questions so that all of you can learn. So I'm really excited. And I just met him yesterday and told him I was filming. And lo and behold, he said, let me join in. I'd love to ask you a question. So welcome, Lance. And what have you been thinking about?
When you said today was going to be about communication, I just knew that I had to be here because it's been a theme that has been running through my life that I've been reflecting on and working on. And so I'm really excited to get your expertise and have you make some recommendations on how I can integrate what I want to into my life.
Love it. All right, let's hear it.
So I felt like I had a bullying theme throughout my life, and I wasn't able to stand up to those bullies. There was always someone else that stood up. And I saw that in like school situations, then it transferred over into relationships and even into professional, where bosses would have that bullying type of a role. And I would get pretty tight and locked up in my throat and the ability to communicate. And so that's really something that I've been working on over the best number of years. And we were talking yesterday that was my major area of illness, and medical conditions have only been around the throat.
Wow.
So for today, I have a number of questions, but I would love to see, to get your take on how can one continue to work on their communication in their personal and professional life.
So first of all, you have such a well-constructed question, and how I know you're a coach is, first of all, you lay out all the patterns. Like, you can see that this isn't just one incident. It's actually been showing up with different names and different situations in all these arenas of your life.
Right.
So I want to say thank you for pointing that out. And for all of you at home, what Lance is experiencing and speaking to is something you want to think about as well, which is, how have the things that I think are bothering me actually shown up as patterns in my life across home and work? So I love that. The other thing that you did that was pretty amazing is you correlated being bullied or the inability to speak up for yourself with your physical ailments. So tell me, is this thyroid? Is this like all things throat?
I've had only two major illnesses in my entire life, and both have been extreme swelling of one of my glands. I had a peritonsillar infection that put me into the ICU, where I had to change my whole life around, which got me on my path. But it's never just physical.
No.
So I started kind of connecting the dots and seeing how can I continue to grow in this area if it's a constant theme. Because I don't wish to go to the ICU again.
No, you got your wake-up call. And so what's really interesting is you said a peritonsillar inflammation. So right in this area, right, of your neck and body, your immune system, or the body's defense against disease, right? Our primary defense against disease is our immune system. A majority of it, 60% of it, is in the third part of our small intestine, and a majority of the rest of it, right, is right here. So all these glands, tonsils, all these glands, right? And so what's interesting is you were having an inflammation or swelling of your ability to defend yourself.
Oh, wow.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you've told me that through your life, you were unable to defend yourself. And when you got out of those situations with the bullies, it was because someone else defended you.
Yes.
So when you end up in the ICU, we are the ones defending you, right? As a doctor, I would show up there and I would be doing everything and getting things, IVs and medications to reduce that swelling. And if I needed to, I would put a tube down your throat and I would make sure that you could breathe, and I would defend you, right? So it's happening on all of these levels. So you have incredible awareness. And one thing I can tell, like your physique, your posture, like you are strong. You are physically strong in your core and how you hold yourself. So how beautiful is that, first of all?
Thank you.
Yeah. And there's, it's usually these types of experiences in our life, as you know as well, right? That turn us into the person we become.
Absolutely.
And so you have this physical strength now. You have this emotional and mental awareness and pattern recognition. So the first thing that I do is I always ask myself, right? How has it served me? How has it served me? So how has it served you to be bullied? Tell me.
In my training, we call it the pain teacher. And if you don't listen to the pain teacher,
Yeah.
it gets louder and louder and louder until you end up in the ICU, and that's really, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so it's created awareness,
Yeah.
and it has helped me become the person that I am today.
Yeah.
And it's interesting is I've taken this weakness or theme
Yeah.
and actually shifted into a strength as one of my major passions and abilities is public speaking. So I do speak around the country, and
Yep.
it's interesting that I'm using
Your voice.
what was hindering me in the past.
Yeah.
But when things get difficult in interpersonal relationships, I can feel a little bit of the vice,
Yeah.
a little bit of the grip.
Yeah.
And so it is, I think working on ourselves is the best project
Oh.
of like the world and
Yeah.
our life. And so it's served me because it's helped me understand more about myself.
I love it. And not only that, you asked at the beginning, how do I keep doing this? The most amazing thing is this is usually how I think people find their purpose in some regard, which is you take whatever was your pain point or your wound growing up, right? And you overcome that through doing the work to learn yourself and strengthen, in your case, yourself on all these levels. And then you make that which you enjoy and feel more whole because of, that becomes your life's work. And so the fact that you are an executive wellness coach, right? I think I would probably just say it would be an executive wellness and communication coach that would have that, right? That would then have that going on in all arenas of your life. And it will probably be one of your great passions. So tell me what happens when somebody in your personal life, what are you most afraid of, right?
Conflict.
Okay.
Conflict in the past has not worked well for me. I can feel stress responses starting to occur.
How does that show up in your body? Tell me how you feel.
Heart rate increasing for sure. Maybe some tension and tightness throughout the body. Let's get ready to spring into action.
Yeah, fight or flight.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, that doesn't serve me anymore.
Yep.
I want to be able to have conversations, even if they're difficult,
Yep.
or even if we're having conflict,
Yeah.
in a really structured way. Because what happens is I always think of what I really want to say later, and I never at that moment, because I'll be like, oh, could I? And I probably should call a timeout.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I feel like things are getting heated, which don't happen very often, so that's why I think it throws me off too.
Right.
But how can I would love to get your insight on how I can stay cool, calm, and communicate in a way and really share what I want to, not think about it like, 20 minutes later when I'm no longer with that person.
Yeah. So this is the art of communication. I often say, I've become a doctor of communication. So I take the science of medicine with the art of communication. And I believe that is what helps stress. So there's good news and bad news. The good news is...
There's no bad news.
Yeah, the good news is that communication, it's probably what I've spent the last 15 years focusing on in myself, because I had a pretty similar experience. And in fact, I wrote a book called Talk RX. And in my book, those of you that have been following for a while, you're well aware of my book. The reason is that, I open the book with being bullied. So I am bullied in the first 25 pages that then sends me on this journey. And I'm now really grateful for that, because it's really like it became a calling. Once I can master that which used to master me, there's passion combined with knowledge, which makes it my calling. Right? So there's this way that, to me, it was becoming aware of my physical sensations in my body so that when I have this throat constriction, I have thyroid issues and throat constriction. I got scoped twice. Someone put me under anesthesia and put a camera down me twice because I was certain there was a mass there.
Oh,
It was my own constriction, that vice thing that you were speaking about. And so it's unlocking all this. So that's your body. Then there's your thoughts and how you run your thoughts when you're starting to react, triggered by your emotions and what you actually want, and then finally what you end up doing. And so I know this sounds like a plug for my book, but really, I think it's going to really serve you. So it's going to be the 5 steps to having honest conversations that create connection, health, and happiness. And what I will commit to you is that I would love to answer your questions, and I would love to help you as you do that. But I think turning into an executive wellness and communication coach is going to take care of this.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I am so glad to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. So tell me some takeaways. Any takeaways you had?
The takeaways are to slow down the conversations, to become aware. You don't have to say something
No.
immediately.
No, you can say this. I'm feeling tense across my shoulders and my heart's racing. This is important to me. Can you give me some time? And I will reconnect with you after dinner. You always want to make sure you let someone know, I'll reconnect with you after the weekend, Monday morning or whatever it is. Just don't abandon someone and act like you're escaping. But if you can name what's physically happening,
Name it, tame it.
yeah, name it, tame it. So it's like, I heard you saying I won't be part of the group. I noticed myself reacting. I'm wondering if you can just give me some time. I need to go for a run, and then I'd love to reconnect with you on that. Or
That's great.
if I answer right now, I know I'm not going to show up in a way that I'd like to in our relationship. I'd like some time, and I will revisit tomorrow. All right? So you
I
just
love
have to
that.
hit pause.
You totally can. You totally can.
But
no
who knew?
one.
Who knew? Right?
And both people will be better served for
Yeah.
that time out because they're probably reflecting as well.
But they
Your
might get
pause.
uncomfortable, though. They might get uncomfortable. No, I want to talk about it now. No, I want to talk about it now. All you say is, I hear how important this is to you. It's important to me, too, and I want us to connect. Right now, I'm not in a place to be able to do that in a way that would serve us.
Awesome.
Okay?
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
Thank you very
So
much.
you're welcome, Lance. So for any of you out there that know that you've experienced being bullied in any way, felt like you didn't have a voice to speak up in a situation that mattered to you, or just want to know how to better lean into conflict, right? I would love you to pick up a copy of TalkRx and leave me some comments, either in the TalkRx Facebook page or below on this blog, so that I can answer your questions and help you out. We also have a special TalkRx Facebook community. Or you can drop me a tweet at #AskDrNeha, AskDoctorNeha. I thank you for tuning in and can't wait to see you next time.